Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. You can catch me there or on Twitter at OptionsMike. So, in the last week, a lot's changed in this market. Last week, we came on and we talked about how the SPY was in a downtrend that it needed to break out of to get going. And believe it or not, we actually did that last week. We popped above it on a gap up. And as of yesterday, we put a new all-time high in the S&P 500, the diamonds, as well as the IWM. So this market is showing some relative strength here as we move into a very, very big decision coming by the Fed tomorrow on Wednesday. On Wednesday, the Fed has their meeting, and everybody's going to be seeing what they do or what they say about the surge in interest rates. It's not how much the interest rates have gone up, it's the speed at which they're going up. They're looking to see if they take some action to slow the speed of the rise in the 10-year, specifically interest rate rise in the 10-year yield on the 10-year bond. So we'll be watching that. But if you're looking here at the markets today, the S&P 500 about to open at a new all-time high here this morning on Tuesday morning, the 16th of March, and it looks really good as we move forward. That said, we know this market. The market does love to rotate, and this is a time now you have to be nimble. And if you go to my next chart, and that's on the QQQs, the Qs have not really participated in this rally. Yeah, we've had this fabulous oversold bounce where we came off the lows, but right now we're at an inflection point. We're sitting right here at the 50-day moving average. If we can get above this 50-day moving average, the Qs can join this party and the markets can fly. And this is something we really need to pay attention to. Pay attention to the Fed tomorrow, because if the Fed does what they call Operation Twist, where they buy short-term bonds and show long-term bonds against it to change the yield curve, right? We could see tech and these growth stocks fly, and the Qs would be the primary winners of this. So if you just like to trade indexes, you could trade an index like the QQQs here. And you can see that purple line. We're sitting just below it today. We've hit it once in the last week. And that's the area to watch. And if that decides to go, then I really want to focus my attentions for the next week or two into these tech stocks that have really been laggards. And, we've talked about Apple, we've talked about Intel, we've talked about Microsoft. There's a couple of names I want to talk to you about today. One of them is Airbnb. Airbnb is kind of a tech stock. It's a growth stock specifically. They did their IPO just recently in the last year. And you can see here, it's pushing its way back to all-time highs. What makes this attractive? Not only is it a growth stock, it is a reopen play. So you're getting the best of both worlds. If you look at names like TripAdvisor and Expedia, they've all had these big run-ups already into this market. This one's showing signs of life. We've seen some big call buying into it in the last week. Last week, they were buying the June 210 calls. And you can see, gets above that 215 area, then it pops to 219, then it's blue skies. So if you're looking for a play on the reopen that's in a growth name, this one is the one I really keep my eyes on over the next week or two. Starting to get going here, nice bounce off the lows, holding in. And what I like more importantly, it's leading. It's acting better than the QQQs. And that's what we look for when we have a market like this. When we're about to come out of it, if we think we're about to get a pop in a different sector, what's been leading? And that brings me back to Google. I know I've talked to you guys about Google in the past, but if I'm going to play tech, this is a name I want to keep my eyes on. Yes, I want Apple. Yes, I want to look at NVIDIA and AMD. But when I look at this chart very specifically, you can see here that since earnings, it's been in the sideways channel, and that gap there, that blue box, it never filled it. In a weak market, this name could have pulled down, easily filled that gap, and it didn't do it. It's showing incredible relative strength compared to the market in the NASDAQ. And that means it's on watch for a breakout over that 2100 level. I think this name can fly. Had a nice trade on it a couple of weeks ago when it broke out to all-time highs when we first talked. It's about a month ago already. Now we'll see today if it can get going, right? So watch this name. If the Qs go, this is a name I want to participate in. So for me this week, I'm watching the Fed. If the Fed gives us the Operation Twist, I think the Qs join the fray. We get some rotation out of these overheated sectors like the financials and energy. And then we see the tech come roaring back here, especially some of these growth names. Keep an eye on Airbnb, Google. Hope you're all having a great week. This is Mike for smartoptiontrading.com.